You've watched Arthur's story, his rise, his reign, his fall, his death. You've seen Uther's rape of Igraine, the sword pulled from stone, the kingdom built on hope and blood. You've seen the May Day massacre, 43 babies drowned, one survivor, Mordred. You've seen the affair, Lancelot and Guinevere, the love that shattered the Round Table, 28 dead in the rescue, civil war, exile, ruin. You've seen the Grail quest, 100 knights abandoning their oaths, chasing God, leaving Arthur with 50 broken men. You've seen the final battle, Camelot, 80 against 15,000, father and son killing each other, the mutual destruction. You think you know who destroyed Camelot? Lancelot, the knight who couldn't control his heart. Guinevere, the queen who loved the wrong man. Mordred, the son who fulfilled the prophecy. Arthur himself, the king who built his kingdom on a massacre. You're missing someone who was there from the beginning, before the sword in the stone, before the Round Table, before any of it. Arthur's half-sister, Morgan Le Fay, the sorceress, the schemer, the shadow in the margins of every story. History calls her the evil witch, the villain, the enemy of everything good and noble. But here's what they don't tell you. She's the reason Arthur could die at Camelot. She stole the scabbard, the source of his immortality. Without it, wounds that should have healed didn't. Blood that should have stopped didn't. She helped expose the affair, encouraged Mordred to force it into the open. Watched the Round Table shatter. She enabled the Grail quest's destruction, whispered to knights already broken by guilt, encouraged them to abandon their king. She gave Mordred intelligence for his rebellion, told him when Arthur was weakest, helped him position for the strike. Every tragedy you've watched, she was there, in the shadows, watching, waiting, orchestrating. Or was she? Was she the architect of Arthur's fall, or just another victim of the cycle that created them both? Villain or victim, monster or survivor? Tonight, the woman history forgot, the sister's truth, the final piece of the puzzle. If you've made it through 4 episodes of blood and betrayal, if you want to understand the complete tragedy, subscribe to the Midnight Archives and hit that like button. This is episode 5, the final episode, the epilogue. You can watch it stand alone, but it's better if you've seen episodes 1 through 4. Better if you understand the weight of what Morgan witnessed, what she endured, what she became. Tonight, Morgan's story, her perspective, her revenge, her grief, the women Arthur destroyed, the cycle completed, the truth beneath the legend. Welcome to the Midnight Archives. Let's finish this. Before Uther, there was happiness. Before Arthur, before Camelot, before any of it, there was a family in Cornwall. Igraine was beautiful. Everyone said so. Hair like spun copper, eyes like the sea at twilight, a face that launched 1,000 rumors. But she wasn't just beautiful. She was kind, intelligent, devoted, and she was married to Gorlois, Duke of Cornwall. They loved each other, actually loved each other. Not a political arrangement, not a strategic alliance. Real love. They had 3 daughters. Morgause, the oldest, bold, ambitious, already calculating even as a child. She watched everything, learned everything, forgot nothing. Elaine, The middle child. Quiet, gentle. The kind of girl who disappeared into tapestries and gardens, who preferred solitude to politics. And Morgan, the youngest, born different. Morgan came into the world screaming. The midwife said she'd never heard a baby scream like that, not in pain, but in rage, like she already knew what awaited her. From her first breath, Morgan was touched by something. The sight, the gift, the curse. She saw things other children didn't see, knew things she shouldn't know. Her father, Gorlois, loved her fiercely, but he was unsettled by her. "She looks at me sometimes," he told Igraine once, "like she knows what I'm thinking, like she can see inside my skull." "She's gifted," Igraine replied, "not cursed. There's a difference." "Is there? Sometimes I wonder." But Gorlois never treated Morgan as anything other than his beloved daughter. Never made her feel wrong or broken. That would come later, from others, from the world. Morgan's visions started early. She was 6 years old, playing in the castle gardens, chasing butterflies, normal child doing normal things. Then she stopped, went perfectly still, eyes unfocused, staring at nothing. Her nursemaid rushed over. Lady Morgan, what's wrong?" Morgan's voice came out flat, distant, not her voice at all. "Grandmother is dying, right now, far away. She's calling for Mother, but Mother can't hear her." The nursemaid went pale. "What? No, your grandmother is fine. She's gone now. She stopped calling. She's quiet." Morgan blinked, came back to herself, started chasing butterflies again like nothing happened. Hours later, a messenger arrived. Igraine's mother had died that morning, at the exact moment Morgan had her vision. After that, everyone watched Morgan differently. Her visions were always true, always terrible, always things she couldn't change. She saw a servant's death 3 days before he fell from the battlements. She saw a plague coming before the first person coughed. She saw her aunt's miscarriage while the aunt was still celebrating the pregnancy. Each time, the vision came, the thing happened. Morgan was left knowing she'd seen it and couldn't stop it. "Why show me?" she asked her mother once. "What's the point if I can't change anything?" Igraine had no answer, just held her daughter, just let her cry. "Maybe someday you'll understand," Igraine said. "Maybe someday the visions will make sense." They never did. Not really. Not until much later. Morgan is 8 years old when her world ends. Her father returns from a feast at King Uther's court, urgent, frightened, moving fast. "We're leaving. Now. Tonight. Get the children." Igraine confused. "What happened? Gorlois, what?" "The king looked at you. All night. Couldn't stop looking. Men look at me. They always look. Not like this. This was hunger, possession. He asked me about you, how long we'd been married, whether you were happy." So Uther Pendragon doesn't ask idle questions, and he doesn't accept no as an answer. They flee that night, the whole family, riding hard for Cornwall. Morgan is in the back of the wagon with her sisters. Morgause explaining, "Father thinks the king wants Mother." "Wants her for what?" Morgan asks. Morgause gives her a look. The look older sisters give younger ones when they're too young to understand. "Just wants her. That's bad. Very bad." They reach Tintagel Castle, their ancestral home, fortress on the cliffs. nearly impossible to assault. Gorloy locks them inside, posts guards, prepares for siege. "Stay inside," he tells Igraine. "Stay safe. Whatever happens, don't open these gates for anyone." "Where are you going?" "To meet Uther's army. Slow them down. Buy you time." "Gorloy, I love you. I'll always love you. Remember that." He rides out with his knights, 50 men against Uther's hundreds. Morgan watches from the tower, watches her father disappear into the night. She doesn't know it yet, but she'll never see him alive again. That night, Morgan in bed, can't sleep. Something wrong, something in the air. Her sisters are asleep. The castle is quiet, too quiet. Then, the vision comes. It hits her like a wave, pulls her under, drowns her in images. She sees her mother's bedroom, the big bed with the red curtains. A man enters. He looks exactly like her father. Same face, same walk, same everything. But something's wrong. Morgan can feel it, even in the vision. The way he moves, too smooth, too confident. The way he smiles, wrong somehow. Like a mask. Not her father. Something wearing her father's face. She sees her mother rise from the bed. "Gorloy, you're back? How did you get past?" "The siege is lifted. Uther retreated. I came to you immediately." Igraine embraces him. "I was so worried. I thought..." He kisses her. Igraine kisses back. Why wouldn't she? It's her husband. Except it's not. Morgan watches. Can't look away. The vision won't let her, as her mother leads the thing wearing her father's face to bed. She's 8 years old. She doesn't fully understand what she's seeing, but she knows it's wrong, knows something terrible is happening. Then, the vision shifts. She sees her real father, miles away, on a battlefield. Uther's soldiers surrounding him. His 50 men all dead or dying. Gorloy fighting alone, exhausted, outnumbered. A sword through his chest. He falls into the mud, reaching for something, someone. Igraine, D's. At the exact moment the false Gorloy is with Igraine, Morgan wakes screaming. "Mother! Father's dead! There's a man! A wrong man in your room!" Servants rush in. Her sisters wake. Everyone panicked. "What's wrong? What happened?" "Father is dead! And there's a man with mother! A man who looks like father but isn't!" They think it's a nightmare. "Just bad dreams, sweetheart. Your father is fine." "He's not! I saw him die. I saw her with..." They give her poppy milk to calm her, to make her sleep. She fights it, tries to stay awake, tries to warn them, falls asleep, screaming. Morning comes. A messenger arrives, exhausted, blood on his clothes. The Duke is dead, fell in battle last night against Uther's forces. Igraine collapses, screaming, wailing. Morgan stands in the doorway, silent, because she already knew, because she saw, and no one believed her. Uther marries Igraine 3 weeks later. 3 weeks. That's how long it takes. Husband's body barely cold. Morgan watches the wedding in silence, watches her mother stand beside the man who murdered her father, the man who raped her while wearing her dead husband's face. "Mother," Morgan asks before the ceremony, "how can you marry him? You know what he did. Igraine's face is a mask. Perfect. Controlled. Dead. I know. Then how? Because I have no choice. I'm a woman alone, with 3 daughters. No army, no protection. But he killed father. The thing in your room, that was him, wasn't it? Wearing father's face. Igraine goes still. You saw that. In a vision. I tried to warn you. Igraine kneels, takes Morgan's hands. Her eyes are wet, but her voice is steady. Listen to me. What happened to me? What Uther did? There's no justice for it. No punishment. He's the king. He can do whatever he wants. That's not fair. No, it's not. But it's real. That's how power works. So we just let him win. Let him have you. We survive. That's what women do. We survive. Morgan doesn't cry at the wedding, doesn't react at all, just watches with cold, ancient eyes. Something dies in her that day, something innocent. Something else is born, something patient, something hard. 9 months later, the baby comes. A boy, Arthur, born exactly 9 months after Gorloy died. Everyone knows whose son he really is. No one says it. Morgan looks at the infant in the cradle, studies his face, Uther's face, the face of the man who destroyed her family. This baby killed our father, she whispers. This baby is wrong. Merlin takes the baby away that night, whisked off to some unknown location for his safety. No one explains why. No one tells the girls anything. But Morgan knows, feels it in her bones. That baby is important. That baby is dangerous. And someday, that baby will be her enemy. 15 years in Uther's court. 15 years watching her mother fade. The vibrant, loving woman becoming a ghost. Present but absent. Breathing but not alive. 15 years watching Uther age and rage. Obsessed with finding Arthur. With securing his succession. With his legacy. Never caring about the 3 daughters who live in his castle. The stepdaughters he never wanted. The sisters cope differently. Morgause, the oldest, learns to use her beauty as a weapon, becomes calculating, strategic, marries well to King Lot of Orkney, gains power, bides her time. Elaine, the middle sister, disappears, marries young to a minor lord, leaves court, has children, lives quietly, survives by becoming invisible. Morgan, the youngest, studies. She finds teachers, hedge witches in the forest, wise women in the villages, anyone who knows the old arts. She learns potions, herbs that heal, herbs that kill, herbs that make men see things that aren't there. She learns glamours, how to change her face, how to make people see what she wants them to see. She learns foresight, how to call visions instead of waiting for them to attack her. She learns curses, how to harm from a distance, how to plant seeds of destruction that bloom months later. Her power grows, slowly, secretly. No one knows what she's becoming. She's still just a girl, still powerless in the ways that matter, still trapped in Uther's court, but she's preparing for something. She doesn't know what yet, just knows that someday she'll need power, real power, and when that day comes, she'll be ready. Morgan is 23 years old when the news arrives. Uther is dead. Finally. The old monster gone. And at his tomb, in front of all the nobles of Britain, a boy pulled a sword from a stone. A nobody. A peasant. A stranger. Morgan hears the reports with growing dread. He just walked up and pulled it out, like it was nothing. The sword was stuck in an anvil, embedded in stone. No one could move it for years. But this boy, barely a man, he walked up and it slid out smooth as butter. Then, the revelation. Merlin steps forward, makes his announcement. This is Arthur, son of Uther Pendragon and Lady Igraine, rightful king of Britain. Morgan goes cold. The baby, the rape baby, the wrong baby from 23 years ago. Now he's king of everything. Father died for this, she whispers to herself. Mother was raped for this. Our lives destroyed for this. And he gets to be king. He gets glory and power and love. While we got nothing, less than nothing. 3 days later, Morgause arrives, in secret, at night. She's a queen now, married to Lot of Orkney, mother of 4 sons, Gawain, Agravain, Gaheris, Gareth. But she hasn't forgotten. None of them have forgotten. You've heard the news, Morgause says. Our brother is king, half-brother. Don't call him that. He's Uther's rape spawn, nothing more. He doesn't know, does he? About us, about what Uther did. Merlin never told him. As far as Arthur knows, he's just a lucky peasant boy who happened to be the hidden prince. He doesn't know about Mother, about the rape, about any of it. No. And that gives us an opportunity. Morgan studies her sister. What are you planning? Morgause's smile is cold, beautiful, terrifying. I'm going to seduce him. What? Think about it. He doesn't know we're related. Merlin kept it secret. To Arthur, I'm just a beautiful queen from Orkney. You're his half-sister. Half-sister he's never met, never even heard of. As far as he knows, we're strangers. I'll go to him. Beautiful, willing, available. He won't resist. Men never resist. Especially young men. Especially kings drunk on new power. Morgan stares at her. You want to commit incest with our brother. I want revenge. For father, for mother. For all of us. If I bear his child, a child with royal blood from both parents, that child will have a claim to the throne. More importantly, I'll raise that child to hate him, to destroy him. We create our own prophecy, our own weapon. Arthur will never know what he is, where he comes from, what we are to each other, until it kills him. Morgan should stop this, should warn Arthur, should break the cycle before it spirals further. She considers it for maybe 3 seconds. Then she thinks about her father, Gorloy, dying in the mud while Uther raped his wife, wearing his face. She thinks about her mother, Igraine, hollow and broken for 15 years, married to her rapist, smiling and pretending. She thinks about herself, the visions, the powerlessness, watching terrible things happen and never being able to stop them. Do it, she tells Morgause. Create the prophecy. Create the weapon. You'll help. I'll help from inside. I'll go to Camelot, present myself as his loving sister. He'll welcome you. He's desperate for family, desperate to belong. I know. I'll give him the family he wants, while I tear it apart from within. Between your son and my magic, we'll destroy him. Father will be avenged, mother will be avenged, all of it. Morgause takes her hand, sisters united. Different methods, Morgan says. Same goal. Same enemy, Morgause replies. Same justice. They part ways that night, each to their own task. Morgause goes to seduce Arthur, to create Mordred. Morgan prepares to go to Camelot, to become the loving sister, the trusted advisor, the poison in Arthur's cup. 6 months later, Morgan presents herself at court. She's done her research, knows how to approach this, knows what Arthur wants. She arrives modestly, no army, no demands, just a woman alone seeking her family. I am Morgan, she announces, daughter of Igraine, half-sister to the king. Arthur's face transforms. Joy, relief, hope. Sister? I have a sister. You have 3, actually. Morgause, Elaine, and myself. We're your mother's daughters from her first marriage. Why didn't Merlin tell me? Why didn't anyone? I don't know, but we're here now. I'm here now. If you'll have me. Arthur practically runs to embrace her. Of course I'll have you. Your family. Morgan returns the embrace, feels his warmth, his sincerity, his desperate need. For a moment, just a moment, she feels something like guilt. Then she remembers her father's face, dying in the mud, calling for Igraine. The guilt dies. Something colder takes its place. Welcome to Camelot, sister, Arthur says. Welcome home. Guinevere befriends her too, the young queen starving for female company. Finally, Guinevere laughs. Another woman in this castle of swords and testosterone. Men can be exhausting, Morgan agrees. All that posturing, all that honor. You understand. Arthur's wonderful, but sometimes I just need someone who speaks my language. I'm here now. We can speak any language you like. They become close, genuinely close. Morgan finds herself actually liking Guinevere. The girl is kind, lonely, trapped in a political marriage to a man she barely knows. Morgan files this away. Another weakness, another tool. Even Merlin is suspicious. The old wizard watches her constantly. Your sister seems calculating, he tells Arthur once. She's been through a lot. We all have. Give her time. I am just saying. She's family, Merlin. My family. Something I never thought I'd have. Don't push her away because you're paranoid. Merlin subsides, but he keeps watching. Morgan keeps smiling, keep playing her role. Keep waiting. The game has begun. Years pass. Morgan becomes essential to Camelot. She presents herself as a healer, an herbalist, a wise woman skilled in the old arts. It's not entirely a lie. She is skilled. She does help people. Knights wounded in battle. She tends them, mixes poultices, eases their pain. Children with fever. She brews medicines, saves lives. Women struggling with pregnancy. She offers remedies, guides them through difficult births. Everyone loves her. Everyone trusts her. Everyone depends on her. Lady Morgan saved my husband's life, the wife of a knight says. I'll never forget her kindness. Lady Morgan cured my son's sickness, a noble proclaims. She has healing hands. Lady Morgan is the kindest woman I know, Guinevere tells everyone. I don't know what I'd do without her. All true, all genuine, all carefully constructed, because Morgan does care, does help, does heal. She's not purely evil, not a monster in human form. She's something more complicated. A woman who genuinely helps people while planning to destroy their king. The kindness is real, the healing is real. So is the hatred, so is the plan. People contain multitudes. Morgan contains more than most. While she heals, she studies. Every conversation, every observation, every detail, filed away for later use. She studies Excalibur first, the legendary sword, powerful, magical, never failing in battle, but ultimately just a sword. It makes Arthur dangerous in combat, but it doesn't make him invincible. Then she discovers the scabbard. She's treating Arthur for a minor wound, training accident, nothing serious. When she notices, the wound is already closing, faster than it should, faster than natural. That's healing remarkably quickly, she says, keeping her voice casual. The scabbard, Arthur says, gift from the Lady of the Lake, along with Excalibur. What does it do? While I wear it, I can't bleed to death, can't be killed by wounds. Any injury heals eventually. Morgan's heart races, but her face shows nothing. How useful, she says mildly. No wonder you're so brave in battle. Arthur laughs. It helps, though I try not to rely on it too much. Morgan files this away. The real treasure. The real protection. Not the sword. The scabbard. Remove the scabbard, and Arthur becomes mortal again. Just a man who can bleed. Just a man who can die. She continues her observations. The round table. All these knights with their competing egos, their jealousies, their ambitions. So many potential fracture points. So many ways the fellowship could shatter. Guinevere, the lonely queen in her loveless political marriage. Eyes that wander when she thinks no one's watching. Already vulnerable. Already unhappy. Just waiting for the wrong temptation. Then Lancelot arrives. Morgan sees it immediately. The first moment their eyes meet across the great hall, Lancelot looks at Guinevere like she's the sun, like she's everything. Guinevere looks at Lancelot like she's finally waking up, like she's been asleep her whole life. Morgan watches, says nothing, just smiles. This will destroy them, given time. She just has to wait. Year 3 of Arthur's reign. Morgan is impatient, the hatred burning too hot. She decides to act directly, take matters into her own hands. She crafts a cloak, gorgeous fabric, perfect stitching, fit for a king, lined with poison. Anyone who wears it burns alive from the inside out. She presents it at a feast. For my beloved brother, to celebrate your victories. Arthur, delighted, reaches for it. Merlin's voice. Wait. Everyone stops, looks at the wizard. The fabric is unusual, Merlin says slowly. Let someone else try it first, a servant perhaps. Merlin, really? Arthur starts. Humor an old man. A servant steps forward, puts on the cloak. 3 seconds of silence. Then, screaming. The servant convulsing. Smoke rising from the fabric. The cloak burning through his skin, killing him from the inside. He falls. Dead. Still smoking. Everyone staring. At the corpse. At the cloak. At Morgan. Morgan's face perfectly shocked. Horrified. I don't understand. Someone must have tampered with it. This wasn't... I never... Arthur conflicted, looking between Morgan and the dead servant. Merlin knows. She can see it in his eyes. He knows, but he can't prove it. The poison is too subtle, the magic too well hidden. Someone is trying to kill you through your sister, Merlin says carefully. We should investigate. Yes, Morgan agrees quickly. Find whoever did this. They nearly killed my brother using me. Arthur believes her, wants to believe her, needs to believe her. Find the real assassin, he orders his guards. Someone tried to harm my sister's reputation as well as my life. Morgan escapes, unpunished, but exposed. Merlin is watching now, closer than before. She'll have to be more careful. Year 5. Morgan tries again, more subtle this time, learned from her mistakes. She crafts a sword, beautiful blade, perfect balance. For when Excalibur needs maintenance, brother, every great king should have a backup. The sword is cursed. Wounds from it never heal properly. They fester, rot, kill slowly. She arranges for Arthur to use it in a tournament, just a friendly competition. Arthur wounds an opponent, Sepelius. Shallow cut across the arm, should be nothing, a scratch. 2 weeks and forgotten, but the wound doesn't heal, gets worse, festers despite treatment. Peleus nearly dies. For weeks, the best healers can't help. Finally, Morgan steps in. Let me try. She heals him, removes her own curse, takes credit for the miracle. Brother, she tells Arthur afterward, that sword is cursed. Someone tried to hurt you through me again. Arthur devastated, believing her. My enemies will stop at nothing. We must be careful, both of us. Again, she escapes. Again, Merlin suspects but can't prove. But her reputation is damaged. People whisper. Strange how many of Lady Morgan's gifts turn dangerous. Coincidence? Or something more? She realizes direct attacks won't work. Merlin is too watchful. Arthur too suspicious now. She needs a different approach. Something indirect. Something that can't be traced back to her. Something patient. Morgan changes her strategy completely. No more assassination attempts. No more direct action. Instead, encourage what's already happening. Let nature take its course. She sees Lancelot watching Guinevere, says nothing, just smiles. She sees Guinevere's loneliness deepening, offers sympathy but no solutions. You seem sad, my queen. I'm fine, just tired. Of course. But if you ever need to talk, I'm here. She plants seeds, waters them, watches them grow. Small comments to Guinevere. You deserve to be truly loved, not just politically convenient. Small observations to Lancelot. The queen seems so lonely, so isolated. Someone should care for her. Nothing direct, nothing that could be blamed on her, just encouragement. The affair will happen on its own. She can feel it building. Mordred will come eventually too. Morgose's letters confirm it. The boy is growing, learning to hate. 10 years, maybe 15, he'll be ready. Morgan just has to stay close, stay trusted, stay patient, and steal the scabbard when the moment is right. That's the key. That's the centerpiece. Without the scabbard, Arthur can die. With Arthur dead, the cycle completes. She can wait. She's been waiting her whole life. What's another decade? Year 10 of Arthur's reign. Morgan has studied the scabbard for years now, understands it perfectly. The magic is ancient, deeper than anything she's encountered. a gift from the Lady of the Lake herself. While Arthur wears it, wounds close almost immediately. Blood stops flowing within moments. He can't bleed to death no matter how severe the injury. The sword makes him dangerous. The scabbard makes him immortal. If Mordred is going to kill him, Morgan reasons to herself, if the prophecy will ever fulfill, I have to remove this protection. Arthur has to become mortal again, has to become a man who can bleed, a man who can die. Otherwise, Mordred strikes him down and Arthur just gets back up. She begins planning, carefully, methodically. This is the most important thing she'll ever do. She can't afford mistakes. Morgan can't do this alone. She needs help. She finds him at court. Sir Accolon, young knight, handsome, ambitious, naive, the kind of man who thinks with his heart instead of his head, the kind who can be led. She begins the seduction, slowly, carefully, a smile across the great hall, a lingering touch on his arm, a private conversation in the garden. You're different from the other knights, she tells him, more thoughtful, more sensitive. My lady flatters me. I don't flatter, I observe, and I see someone special. Weeks pass. The seduction deepens. She lets him pursue her, makes him work for every smile, every moment of attention. Men value what they struggle for. She's learned that. Finally, she lets him catch her, a kiss in a moonlit corridor. His passion, her calculation. We could be together, she whispers, forever. If only what? My brother, Arthur, he's so controlling, so possessive of me. The king, he seems fair. You don't know him like I do. The real him, behind the crown. She plants seeds, waters them. He killed my father, you know. Had him murdered so he could rape my mother. That can't be true. It is. Arthur was born from that rape, and he's been covering it up his whole reign. The noble king, the righteous king, all lies, all masks. Beneath it, he's a monster, just like his father. Accolon doesn't believe her, at first, but love makes people stupid, and she's very persuasive. By the end of year 10, Accolon would do anything for her, anything at all. Morgan arranges everything. A hunting party, Arthur, Morgan, Accolon, a handful of others, deep in the forest, far from Camelot, far from witnesses. They get separated from the main group. Morgan's magic ensures it, glamours leading them astray, false trails, confusing sounds. Until it's just the three of them, Arthur, Morgan, Accolon, lost, night falling. There's a lodge, Morgan says. I remember it from childhood, just ahead. They find it, convenient, comfortable. Morgan prepared it weeks ago, stocked with food, wine, everything they need. We'll shelter here tonight, she says. The others will find us tomorrow. Arthur suspicious, his instincts warning him, but he's tired, cold. And Morgan is his sister. He agrees. They eat, they drink, they talk by the fire. Arthur grows drowsy. The wine, he thinks. The exhaustion of the day. Not just wine. Morgan's special edition. You should sleep, brother. You're exhausted. Yes, I think I will. He lies down on the lodge's single bed, falls instantly into deep sleep. deeper than normal, magical sleep. He won't wake until dawn. Morgan waits, watching him, making sure. Then she moves, carefully, quietly, every motion deliberate. She kneels beside him, unbuckles the scabbard from his waist, so slowly, so gently, 1 inch at a time. He doesn't wake, doesn't stir. She lifts it free, holds it, the source of his immortality, in her hands. 23 years of hatred, 10 years of planning. This moment, she replaces it with a perfect copy. Looks identical, feels the same. No magic. He'll never notice. Not until he bleeds. She stands, the real scabbard in her hands, looks down at her sleeping brother. "You took everything from us," she whispers. "Now I take everything from you. Not your life, not yet. Just your protection. The rest will come when Mordred is ready." She turns, walks to where Accolon waits outside. It's done. It's done. He's mortal now, like the rest of us. Good. What happens next? We wait, we test, we make sure. Weeks pass. Arthur notices nothing. Morgan watches, waits for confirmation. It comes during training, a practice session in the yard. Arthur sparring with Sir Kay. Just exercise, nothing serious. Kay's blade catches Arthur's arm, minor cut. Should be nothing. Arthur yelps, looks down. The wound bleeds, properly bleeds. Doesn't close immediately like it should. He frowns, confused. Morgan watching from the battlements, smiling. The magic must be delayed sometimes, Arthur mutters to himself. Nothing to worry about. He doesn't check the scabbard, doesn't suspect. Morgan's copy is perfect. He can't tell the difference just by looking. The protection is gone. Arthur is mortal. Now she just needs to test it fully, make absolutely certain. That's where Accolon comes in. Morgan gives Accolon the real scabbard. Wear this. It will protect you from any wound. Why give me the king's protection? Because I need you to kill him. Accolon's face goes pale. Kill the king? He's a monster. Remember, I told you what he did to my family, what he really is. Yes, but with this scabbard you can't be hurt. Without his, he can. Challenge him to single combat. Say it's for my honor, for the right to marry me. Kill him. Then we'll be together. I'll be free. We'll rule together. Accolon hesitates. Murder is different from seduction, different from stolen kisses. But he's in too deep now, and Morgan is very persuasive. You love me, don't you? More than anything. Then do this for me. Free me from my monster brother, and I'm yours, forever. He agrees. God help him, he agrees. He challenges Arthur the next day. Trial by combat, my lord, for the hand of your sister Morgan. Arthur confused. You want to marry Morgan? Just ask. You don't need to fight me. I wish to prove my worth. Single combat, to show I'm worthy of her. Arthur almost refuses. Something feels wrong, but refusing would be cowardice, would be unkingly. He agrees. They face each other in the tournament ground, all of Camelot watching. Arthur has Excalibur, the never-failing sword. He has the fake scabbard, no protection at all. Accolon has a regular sword. He has the real scabbard, complete immortality. They fight. Arthur lands the first blow. Clean hit across Accolon's shoulder. The wound opens, then closes immediately. No blood, no damage. Arthur stares. What? Accolon attacks. Cuts Arthur's arm. Arthur's wound bleeds freely, doesn't close. Something wrong, something very wrong. Arthur fights on, landing hits that do nothing, taking hits that keep bleeding, getting weaker, blood loss accumulating. He looks at his scabbard, looks at Accolon's belt. His scabbard, his real scabbard. On Accolon's belt. He looks up at the tower, Morgan watching, smiling. Understanding crashes through him. My sister gave you that. My sister betrayed me. Rage replaces confusion. Pure, overwhelming fury. He attacks with everything he has. Wounded, bleeding, dying, but still Arthur. Still the greatest warrior in Britain. He disarms Accolon, knocks him flat, Excalibur at his throat. Where did you get that scabbard? Accolon terrified. Morgan gave it to me. She said you were evil. She said to kill you. Said we'd rule together. Arthur looks up at the tower. Morgan is running, fleeing. Guards, stop her! Stop my sister! Morgan runs through the castle. Guards pursuing. She's prepared for this. Always has an escape plan. Reaches the courtyard. Nowhere left to go. The guards closing in. She speaks a word. A spell prepared long ago. Her body shifts, transforms, shrinks. She becomes a raven. Black wings, sharp beak. Launches into the air. The guards grabbing at nothing. She flies. Away from Camelot. Away from Arthur. Away from everything. Behind her, Arthur staggers into the courtyard. Wounded, furious, too late. He watches the raven disappear over the horizon. Morgan! No answer. Just empty sky. She escapes to her own lands. A castle in Gore, northern borderlands. Her territory, beyond Arthur's easy reach. Arthur sends a messenger, demanding her return, demanding the scabbard. Return what you stole. Come back and face justice. I'll show mercy. You're still my sister. Morgan's reply. She throws the real scabbard into a deep lake, watches it sink, lost forever. Gone. Her message to Arthur. If I can't have it, neither can you. Now you can die like any mortal. Like my father died, like all your victims died. The next time you bleed, brother, remember who made it possible. Remember who took your immortality. Remember me. Arthur mourns the loss, knows what this means. Without the scabbard, he can bleed, can die. The prophecy can fulfill. But he doesn't hunt Morgan down, can't spare the resources, can't risk civil war. And part of him, the part that still loves his sister, can't bring himself to execute family. She's safe. For now, watching, waiting, planning. The trap is set, just needs time. Morgan rules Gore for years after her escape. A small territory, beyond Arthur's easy reach, defensible. She builds power, gathers other magic users, witches, seers, healers who've been driven from their homes, creates a network of spies throughout Britain, eyes and ears in every court, every castle, every village. She can't act directly anymore. Merlin is watching. Arthur is suspicious, but she can watch, can wait, can encourage. The destruction of Camelot is inevitable now. She just has to be patient. I took his immortality, she reminds herself. Now time takes everything else. Morgan's spies report Lancelot and Guinevere growing closer every month. She doesn't cause it, doesn't need to. Human nature is doing her work. Two beautiful people, trapped in impossible circumstances, drawn to each other like magnets. It was always going to happen, from the moment they met. But Morgan helps it along. Subtle encouragements through intermediaries. She has agents at court, trusted servants, minor nobles, people no one suspects. They drop comments, plant ideas. To Guinevere, through a trusted handmaiden, you deserve to be truly loved, my lady, not just politically convenient. To Lancelot, through a fellow knight, the queen seems so lonely lately, so isolated. Someone should look after her. Small pushes, gentle nudges. The affair ignites on its own. She just fans the flames. When the first kiss happens, her spies report it within days. Morgan smiles. Now we wait. Let it grow. Let it become impossible to hide. Then Mordred forces it into the open, and everything falls apart. Word reaches Morgan. Mordred has returned to Camelot. Morgause's son, the prophecy child, 20 years old now, claiming his birthright. Arthur has accepted him, made him a knight, given him honor and position. Foolish, sentimental, so very Arthur. Morgan sends a secret message, through channels only she and Morgause know. Nephew, we should meet. They meet at the border of Gore, neutral ground, private. Morgan studies him. This child she helped create. This weapon she's been waiting for. He's handsome, cold-eyed, patient, looks like Arthur, acts like Morgause, a dangerous combination. You know who I am, Morgan says. My aunt, my mother's sister, the witch who stole Arthur's immortality. You've done your research. Mother told me everything before she died. Morgan notes the past tense. Morgause is dead. She hadn't known. How? Her own sons killed her, Gawain and Gaheris, for other sins. Doesn't matter now. She never saw the revenge completed. That falls to us. Mordred nods, his face betraying nothing. You want to destroy Arthur, Morgan says, not a question. He tried to murder me, drowned 43 babies to get to me. Yes, I want him dead. I can help. I've been working toward this for 25 years. What do you want in return? Morgan considers. What does she want? Just to see it, to watch him fall, to know that father is avenged, that mother is avenged, that all of it meant something. Mordred studies her, seeing something, understanding something. You're like me, shaped by what he did, defined by it. We all are. Everyone touched by Uther's violence, Arthur's violence, the cycle that created us. Then let's end it together. They shake hands, aunt and nephew, co-conspirators, the prophecy children united now. Morgan shares everything she knows. Arthur's weaknesses, his guilt, his blind spots, the nobles who are dissatisfied, the knights who resent his rule, when Arthur is vulnerable, when he's strong. The Grail quest is coming, Morgan says. I can feel it. The signs are there. What signs? The knights are broken, guilty. The affair has poisoned everything. They want escape, want redemption, want something pure to chase. When the vision comes, and it will come, they'll abandon Arthur to chase it. 100 knights, maybe more, riding off to find God. That's when you consolidate power, make yourself indispensable. And that's when I move. No, not yet. Let the quest destroy them first. Let Arthur be weakened further. 5 years, maybe 10. Build your alliances. Position yourself as heir. Then, when he's at his weakest, when he has nothing left, you strike. Mordred absorbs this, patient, calculating. You've been planning this a long time. Since I was 8 years old. Since I watched our father die in a vision while Uther raped our mother. Patience is all I have. Patience and hatred. That and magic. That too. The Grail quest happens exactly as Morgan predicted. 100 knights riding away, chasing salvation, abandoning their king. Morgan watches through her magic, sees the devastation in Arthur's eyes, sees him begging them to stay, sees them leave anyway. God needs me more than you do, they say, one after another, choosing heaven over their oaths. Morgan laughs when she hears this report. Perfect. He's defenseless now. 50 broken men and a dying kingdom. She sends word to Mordred. Soon. Very soon. But she doesn't push. Doesn't force. Lets Mordred decide timing. He's my kill, Mordred replies. I decide when. Of course, nephew. Take your time. He's not going anywhere. 5 years pass. Mordred building power. Morgan watching. Then, Mordred makes his move. The moment Arthur leaves for the northern border, probably a trap Mordred arranged, the sun seizes the throne. Morgan watches through her magic, sees Mordred standing before Arthur's throne, sees him declare himself king, sees the nobles submit. Finally, she breathes, after 25 years. The final battle, the culmination of everything. Morgan uses her strongest magic, a vision spell that lets her see across miles. She watches from her tower in Gore as the armies assemble. Arthur's 80 knights against Mordred's thousands. Impossible odds. She sees Lancelot arrive with 50 more knights, returning from exile to die beside his king. Unexpected. But it won't matter. She sees Gawain die, throwing himself in front of a blade meant for Arthur, sees Kay fall, 3 spears, still fighting from his knees, sees Lancelot overwhelmed, face down in the mud, the greatest knight dead in the dirt. Finally, she sees them meet, father and son, alone on the corpse field, the duel, blow after blow, blood flying. Arthur drives Excalibur through Mordred's chest. Mordred pulls himself up the blade, drives his own sword through Arthur's skull, both falling, both dead, both gone. Morgan releases the spell. The vision fades. She's alone in her tower, surrounded by candles, by books, by power, and she feels nothing. It's done, she says to the empty room. They're both dead. Father is avenged. But she doesn't feel avenged. Doesn't feel satisfied. Just hollow. Empty. done. 25 years of hatred. And this is all it amounts to? 2 corpses in a field, a kingdom dying, a cycle completed or continuing. She doesn't know, can't tell anymore, just knows that it's over, and she feels nothing. In the weeks after Camelot, Morgan reflects, not on Arthur, not on Mordred, not on the politics or the prophecy, on the women. All the women destroyed by this story, this cycle, this tragedy. She starts making a list, a tally of the cost, not for any practical purpose, just to know, to remember, to understand what Arthur's reign really cost the people history doesn't name. Morgan's mother, the woman who started all of this, or rather, the woman it was all done to. Igraine was beautiful. That was her crime, her only crime. Beautiful enough that Uther Pendragon saw her at a feast and decided he had to have her. So he had her, killed her husband, used magic to wear her dead husband's face, raped her while she thought she was making love to the man she loved. That's how Arthur was conceived. That's the great romance the legends talk about. After that night, Igraine was never the same. She married Uther because she had no choice. A woman alone, 3 daughters to protect, no army, no allies. She smiled for 15 years, played the dutiful wife, pretended nothing was wrong. Morgan remembers visiting her mother in those final years. Igraine sitting by the window, staring at nothing, barely speaking. "Mother, are you well?" "I'm fine, dear, just tired." Always tired. For 15 years, she died quietly. No dramatics, no final words, just stopped, like she'd been waiting for permission. Mother never recovered, Morgan says to herself. Never healed, just endured. Arthur was the living symbol of her rape, walking around being celebrated, being loved, being king. And she had to smile, had to pretend, had to call him son when she looked at him. No one ever asked what she wanted, what she felt, what she lost. She was just background, a plot device, the beautiful woman the hero's father needed to rape. History doesn't even remember she was a person. Morgan's older sister, the one who chose seduction as her weapon. Morgause was always the ambitious one, the one who understood power, the one who knew how to use beauty as a blade. She married King Lot of Orkney, bore him 4 sons, built a power base. Then she went to Arthur, seduced him, bore Mordred. She raised that child to hate, poured all her grief into him, shaped him into a weapon. Destroy your father, she told him. Destroy the man who tried to murder you, the man who murdered our father, the man who was born from our mother's rape. This is your purpose, your destiny, your revenge. She died before seeing it completed. Her own sons killed her, Gawain and Gaheris, for other sins, an affair with another knight. Their honor demanded it. They murdered their mother, and the world called it justice. Morgause destroyed herself, destroying Arthur, Morgan realizes. She poured so much hate into Mordred that there was nothing left for herself. She never saw the revenge completed, never saw Arthur fall. Was it worth it? Her life for his death? I don't know. I don't think she knew either. The woman who was Morgan's friend, her confidant, her tool. Guinevere was 15 when she married Arthur, 15, a child, married to a stranger for political alliance. Her father trading her for military support. She never loved Arthur, was never given the chance. Their wedding night was awkward and cold. Their marriage was duty, not devotion. Then Lancelot came, and for the first time, Guinevere felt alive. Was it wrong? Yes. Adultery, betrayal, sin. But what about the marriage that made it necessary? A child sold to a stranger, trapped in a loveless union, watched by an entire kingdom, expected to be queen, expected to produce heirs, expected to smile. You deserve to be truly loved, Morgan told her once, meaning it, using it. Guinevere fell in love with the wrong person and was punished for being human, almost burned at the stake, rescued at the cost of dozens of lives. Civil war. She spent her last years in a convent, praying for forgiveness she didn't need. Died of grief when Arthur and Lancelot died. Just stopped eating, stopped speaking, stopped living. She was a girl sold into marriage, Morgan says, trapped in a union she never chose. Then condemned for finding love elsewhere. The affair was a sin, but the marriage was a prison. Which is worse, the crime or the cage that created it? 43 women. Morgan doesn't know their names. No one does. 43 mothers whose babies were taken in the middle of the night. By order of the king, all male children born in May, for the safety of the realm. That's what the soldier said. That's all the explanation given. The mothers screaming, begging, fighting, beaten, restrained, ignored. Their babies taken to the coast, loaded onto a boat, sent out to sea. The boat sank. All 43 infants drowned, except one, Mordred, washed ashore, rescued by fishermen. The prophecy Arthur tried to prevent. He created it by trying to stop it, and 43 mothers paid the price. They didn't know why, Morgan reflects. Just soldiers coming, taking their children. They never got answers, never got justice, never got their babies back. 43 women whose lives were destroyed so Arthur could feel safe. Arthur's great sin, the foundation of his reign. He built Camelot on infant corpses and wondered why it fell. History doesn't remember those mothers, doesn't name them, doesn't mourn them. Just the May Day massacre, just a plot point, just background. But they were real, they suffered, they lost everything. And no one cared, because they were just women, just mothers, just inconvenient. Morgan's middle sister, the one who chose survival through invisibility. Elaine married young, a minor lord from a distant territory. Nothing strategic, nothing important. She disappeared into domesticity, had children, raised them quietly, stayed far from court. Morgan hasn't seen her in decades, doesn't know if she's happy, but she knows Elaine is alive, still there, still quiet. Elaine chose to be invisible, Morgan realizes. She saw what happened to Mother, to Morgause, to me. She saw what happens to women who matter, who are noticed, who have power. So she became no one, disappeared into the background. No revenge, no schemes, no destruction, just survival. Maybe she was smartest of all of us. But I don't know if she's happy, don't know if any of us could be. Could any of us be happy after what we saw, after what was done to us? And finally, herself. What did I lose? Morgan asks the empty room. My father, obviously, the first loss, the one that started everything. My childhood, my innocence. I was 8 when I saw him die. 8 when I watched Uther destroy my mother through a vision I couldn't control. Watched him take everything from her while wearing my dead father's face. My trust. I learned young that no one protects women. That power takes what it wants. My ability to love. Did I ever love anyone? Truly? Or did I just use people? Accolon loved her, really loved her, would have done anything for her. She sent him to his death, used his love as a weapon, got him killed. Did she feel anything when he fell? Regret, grief, guilt? She can't remember now. It was so long ago. And she's used so many people since. I never married. Not really. Never had children. Never let anyone close. 25 years of my life devoted to revenge, to hatred, to destroying Arthur. I became what I hated. Used people like Uther used my mother. Was I any better? Am I any better? She doesn't have an answer. Not sure she wants one. Arthur is dead, or gone to Avalon. Either way, not coming back. Mordred is dead. Definitely dead. Excalibur through his chest. The kingdom is collapsing, exactly as Morgan predicted, as she planned. Saxon invasions increasing. Petty kings fighting over scraps. Everything Arthur built falling apart. Morgan watches from her tower. Alone, 25 years of planning, and this is the result. I won, she says out loud, testing the words. We won. The prophecy fulfilled. The words feel hollow, empty. She expected something. Triumph, vindication, relief. Instead, there's nothing, just exhaustion. So why do I feel nothing? She had imagined this moment 1,000 times. Arthur dead, his kingdom in ruins, justice finally served. In her imagination, she celebrated, laughed, felt the weight of 25 years lifting. In her imagination, her father's ghost appeared and smiled, proud of her, at peace. In her imagination, everything made sense. The suffering was worth it. The hatred was justified. Reality is different. Reality is sitting alone in a cold tower, watching smoke rise from distant villages. Reality is knowing that Arthur is gone and nothing is better. Reality is understanding, finally, that revenge doesn't heal anything, doesn't fix anything, just creates more corpses, more orphans, more cycles. My entire adult life was about destroying Arthur, she realizes. Now he's destroyed, and I have nothing left. No purpose, no goal, no reason to wake up tomorrow. Is this what victory feels like? This emptiness? In the months after Camelot, Morgan travels. Not for any practical purpose. She doesn't need to. Gore is safe. Her power is secure. She travels to understand, to see what she helped create, to feel something. First, Glastonbury Abbey, where Guinevere is buried. Morgan stands at the grave. Simple marker. Nun's habit. No crown, no jewels. Just Guinevere carved in stone. I'm sorry, Morgan whispers. I used you, encouraged your affair, helped destroy you. You didn't deserve it. You were just trapped, like all of us. I told myself I was helping you, freeing you, but I was just using you, like everyone else did. You were kind to me. You were my friend. and I repaid that with manipulation. I'm sorry, for what it's worth. I'm sorry. Guinevere doesn't answer, just stone and silence. Second, the lake, where Arthur disappeared. Morgan stands on the shore, the same shore where Guinevere stood, where Excalibur returned to the lady. The water is still, mist hovering. Is he dead? Morgan asks the lake. Sleeping, healing. Will he return someday? Haunt me forever? The once and future king, does that mean he's coming back? Will I spend the rest of my life waiting, watching, afraid? No answer, just water and mist and silence. She throws a stone into the lake, watches it sink. I wanted to feel satisfied, seeing where you ended. Instead, I just feel tired, so tired. Maybe that's what revenge really is. Not victory, just exhaustion. Morgan hears stories forming, even in the weeks after Camelot, travelling bards, gossiping peasants, nobles rewriting history. Arthur was the greatest king Britain ever knew. Camelot was a paradise, a golden age. The Round Table was the noblest fellowship in history. All lies, all sanitization. They're forgetting, already forgetting. Forgetting Uther's rape, forgetting the May Day massacre, forgetting all the blood, making Arthur a hero, making Camelot a dream, and Morgan, the evil witch who destroyed the good king, Morgan Le Fay, the sorceress, the villain. She seduced good knights. She stole Arthur's protections. She's why Camelot fell. That's the story. That's what survives. They're making me the villain, Morgan realizes, and him the hero. History is lies agreed upon, and they're agreeing to lie. In 100 years, no one will remember the truth. In 1,000 years, Arthur will be a saint, and I'll be a monster. Is that how it ends? Is that the final injustice? Not just losing, but being remembered as the enemy of something good, when the good thing was built on rape and massacre. Morgan lives another 15 years after Camelot. She rules Gore, practices her magic, grows old, her hair turns grey, her face wrinkles, her hands grow stiff. She's powerful still, respected, feared, but alone, always alone. The women who understood her are dead. Morgause, Igraine, Guinevere. Elaine is alive but distant. They've never reconciled, never really talked. Morgan has followers, students, servants, but no friends, no family, no one who knows her. She's surrounded by power and empty inside. I destroyed my brother, she says one night, old and tired and done. And I destroyed myself in the process. Was it worth it? Was any of it worth it? Father is still dead. Mother is still dead. Nothing's changed. Except now, Arthur's dead too, and Mordred, and thousands more. Did I break the cycle, or just add more bodies to it? She dies quietly, in her sleep, no dramatics, buried in an unmarked grave. Her instructions. She doesn't want a monument. History forgets her, or rather, remembers her wrong. The evil witch, the villain, the enemy, not the girl who watched her father die, not the woman who spent her life seeking justice for crimes no one else acknowledged, just the enemy. The truth disappears. The lie survives. That's how it always goes. Let's be honest about what she did. Multiple assassination attempts on Arthur, 2 that we know of, probably more. The poisoned cloak that killed an innocent servant, the cursed sword that nearly killed Sir Peleus, stole the scabbard, removed Arthur's immortality, made his death possible, manipulated Accolon, used his love, got him killed trying to murder the king, seduced and betrayed a good man because she needed a weapon, helped expose the affair, encouraged its discovery, didn't cause it, but made sure it couldn't stay hidden, enabled Mordred's rebellion, provided intelligence, shared strategy, helped him know when to strike, wanted Arthur dead for 25 years, worked toward it constantly, finally achieved it. By any objective measure, yes. Villain, criminal, traitor, murderer by proxy. If Arthur had caught her, he would have been justified in executing her. She did terrible things, deliberately, repeatedly, without remorse. That's the truth. But here's another truth. Her father was murdered when she was 8 years old. Murdered so Uther could claim her mother through sorcery and lies. She witnessed it in a vision she couldn't control. Watched her father die. Watched her mother deceived and betrayed in the cruelest way imaginable. At 8 years old, she tried to warn everyone. They didn't believe her, called it nightmares. She was right. They were wrong, and no one ever apologized. She was raised in her destroyer's court, 15 years watching Uther age and rage, watching her mother fade into nothing, powerless, voiceless, ignored. The baby born from that betrayal became king, became celebrated, became the greatest king in Britain's history, while Morgan and her sisters got nothing, were nothing, just inconvenient reminders of uncomfortable truths. Arthur tried to murder her nephew, drowned 43 babies trying to kill one child. That's the hero. That's the king. That's what she was supposed to accept. By any objective measure, yes. Victim, survivor, product of violence. She didn't create the cycle that shaped her. She inherited it. The rage she carried wasn't born in a vacuum. It was born in a child watching her family destroyed. Morgan didn't start this. None of them did. Uther raped Igraine. That's where it begins. One man's violence. From that rape. Arthur. A child born from sin, raised in ignorance. From that sin, the May Day massacre. Arthur's fear creating the very monster he feared. From that massacre, Mordred. A survivor shaped by his own near death. From all of it, Morgan. A witness turned avenger. The cycle would have continued. Through Mordred's children, if he'd had any. Through Morgan's students, if she taught them hatred. Violence creating violence creating violence. No beginning anyone can remember. No end anyone can see. Just echoes, reverberating through generations. Arthur was a victim too in his way. Born from rape, lied to his whole life, manipulated by Merlin. Does that excuse his choices? No. Does it explain them? Partly. Everyone's a victim. Everyone's a perpetrator. That's how cycles work. So, who's the villain, really? Morgan, who did terrible things for understandable reasons. Arthur, who did terrible things for different understandable reasons. Uther, who started it all. But was Uther the product of his own brutal era? Merlin, who manipulated everyone. But Merlin was trying to build a better Britain. Maybe there is no villain. Not in the simple sense. Maybe there's just people, hurting each other, across generations. Each one's pain creating someone else's pain. Each one's justified rage creating unjustified suffering. The villain is the cycle itself, Morgan realizes at the end. the violence that echoes through generations. We're all victims. We're all perpetrators. We're all trapped. I thought killing Arthur would break the cycle, would end it. Instead, I just added more bodies, more grief, more echoes. The cycle doesn't break. It just continues through different people. Maybe that's the real lesson. Not revenge, not justice. Just the endless repetition of suffering, wearing different faces. History tells Arthur's story, the king's story, the man's story, the sword in the stone, the round table, the noble quest, the tragic death. It's a good story. Dramatic, inspiring, memorable. But what about the women? Igraine, raped and erased. A footnote. Arthur's mother, as if that's all she was. Morgause, used and killed. The seductress, as if her grief meant nothing. Morgan, vilified and forgotten. The witch, as if she had no reasons. Guinevere, blamed and pitied. The adulteress, as if she had any real choices. The mothers of Mayday, unnamed and unmourned, not even footnotes, just absent. Every hero's story has women bleeding in the margins, Morgan thinks. Every legend has victims it doesn't name. We were the cost, the price, the collateral damage. Arthur built his kingdom on our suffering, our silence, our erasure, and history remembers him as a hero, while we're forgotten, or vilified, or reduced to types. The mother, the witch, the seductress, the queen. Not people, just roles. I was one of them. We all were. And now we're gone, and the lies survive. This is how history will remember them. Arthur, the greatest king Britain ever knew. The once and future king, sleeping in Avalon, waiting to return when Britain needs him most. Noble, tragic, heroic. Morgan, the evil witch who destroyed him. The villain of the piece, motivated by jealousy, ambition, malice. One-dimensional, wicked, enemy. Simple story, good versus evil, hero versus villain. The truth is messier. Arthur was born from rape, committed genocide, built his kingdom on infant corpses and erasure of women's suffering. Also tried his best, built something beautiful, united warring kingdoms, created a fellowship of honor. Both things are true. Morgan was traumatized as a child, spent her life seeking revenge for crimes no one else acknowledged. Also murdered, manipulated, destroyed lives, made everything worse. Both things are true. They were both victims, both perpetrators, both human. But history doesn't do nuance. History does heroes and villains. So Arthur becomes the hero. Morgan becomes the villain. And the truth disappears forever. Morgan isn't just a person. She's a symbol. She represents every woman destroyed on a man's path to glory, every mother whose children were taken for the greater good, every wife whose suffering was deemed acceptable collateral, every sister erased from the story because she made it complicated. She represents female rage in a patriarchal world, the victim who refuses to stay silent, who refuses to accept, who refuses to disappear. In another story, she'd be the hero, the survivor who fights back. In this story, she's the villain. Because this story belongs to Arthur. She represents the woman who chose power over acceptance, who decided that being remembered as a monster was better than being forgotten entirely, who would rather be the villain than the victim. For every hero, there are women in the shadows, Morgan might say. For every legend, there are victims history doesn't name. I am those shadows made flesh. I refused to be forgotten, so they made me the enemy. Maybe that's fair. Maybe I earned it. Or maybe the only way for a woman to be remembered is to be hated. Morgan's greatest act wasn't murder or manipulation. It was stealing the scabbard. Think about what she took. Not Excalibur, not the sword, not the weapon. The scabbard, the protection, the hidden thing, the source of immortality. The sword is the public symbol, the glory, the fame. The scabbard is the private truth, the safety, the real power. Arthur wielded the sword. Everyone knew about the sword, but the scabbard, hidden beneath his cloak, secret, protected. That's what Morgan stole. The hidden thing, the protection no one sees. I didn't take his strength, she might say. I took his safety. I didn't kill him. I made it possible for him to be killed. That's women's power in a man's world. Not direct, not visible. Working in shadows, taking hidden things, making change no one sees. Until it's too late. The sword gets the glory, the scabbard gets the work done. Arthur never understood that. Neither does history. But I did. I always did. 5 episodes. 1 complete tragedy. Episode 1. Arthur, born from Uther's rape of Igraine, pulls sword from stone, becomes king, commits the May Day massacre, creates Mordred. Episode 2. Arthur's loveless marriage to Guinevere. Lancelot arrives. The affair ignites. Kingdom fractures. Round Table shatters. Episode 3. The Grail Quest. 100 knights abandon Arthur. 40 die. 30 lost forever. Arthur left defenseless. Episode 4. Mordred's rebellion. The final battle. Mutual killing. Father and son destroy each other. Britain falls. Episode 5. Morgan's story. The sister in the shadows. The woman who orchestrated it all. The truth behind the legend. The cycle complete. From Uther's violence to Morgan's revenge to Mordred's destruction. Every sin creating the next sin. Every victim becoming the next perpetrator. But Morgan's perspective matters, specifically, because it shows what the legend erases. The women's cost, the women's suffering, the women's silence. Shows what history forgets when it makes heroes out of rapists' sons. Shows the bodies buried beneath the glory. Was Morgan right to seek revenge? Was Arthur's death justice? Or tragedy? Or both? Was the destruction of Camelot punishment or waste? There are no answers, just questions. The same questions humans have asked forever, about every cycle of violence, every war, every revenge. Does fighting evil make you evil? Does suffering justify causing suffering? Does breaking the cycle require becoming the cycle? Morgan thought killing Arthur would bring peace, would bring closure. Instead, it brought nothing. Emptiness. More death. More cycles. Maybe that's the lesson. Maybe there is no lesson. I did terrible things, Morgan might say at the end. I had terrible reasons. Arthur did terrible things too, with his own terrible reasons. We destroyed each other, and Britain with us. Maybe that's all any of this was, people destroying each other, and calling it justice, or history, or legend. Just destruction, all the way down. 5 episodes, 1 complete story. From the sword in the stone to the sister's grief. From hopeful beginning to bitter end. Every perspective shown. Every voice heard. Arthur, Lancelot, Guinevere, Mordred, Morgan. All victims. All villains. All human. All trapped in a cycle none of them started, and none of them could escape. This is the true story of King Arthur. Not the legend, not the fairy tale, not the hero's journey, the tragedy, the blood, the women erased and the children murdered and the brothers killing brothers, the truth beneath the glory. Thank you for watching all 5 episodes. Thank you for following this story from beginning to end. From the sword in the stone to the sister's revenge. From hope to ruin. If you made it this far, you understand what the legends hide. The blood beneath the glory. The women in the shadows. The victims history doesn't name. This is what the Midnight Archives does. We tell the stories that got erased. The perspectives that got silenced. We remember what history forgot. If you want more buried histories, more forgotten voices, more truth beneath legend, subscribe. Hit the like button. Share with someone who loves dark history. Comment below. Was Morgan villain or victim? Both? Neither? What would you have done in her place? Watched your father murdered, your mother raped. The rapist's son crowned king. Would you have accepted it? Moved on? Forgotten? Or would you have done exactly what she did? There are no right answers, just questions. Questions that echo through history, through legend, through us. The once and future king is gone. The sister who destroyed him is forgotten. But the cycle continues, always continues, until someone, somewhere, finally chooses to break it. Maybe that's the real lesson. The Midnight Archives, where legends die and truth survives, where we remember what history forgot. Until next time.